What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Got J and Q in the G. Burbank Farm Studios. Paul Munson, the coach, returns to talk a little bit of, well, we're going to talk basketball. We'll also talk a little baseball while we're at it. Ty Bartell, the boy genius, is here, and we also have the man known as Max Solo. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Doing great. It's a Friday.
Love hearing that. Obviously, Jeff's here, so there's going to be a lot of talk behind the scenes. So, gentlemen, keep it to a minimum, okay? I don't feel like being the teacher today. Keep it to a minimum. If you got something to share it with the entire class. How about that?
It's like a snack.
Exactly. Paul, you'd be the one person to talk about snacks.
I got them.
Because you have them. And welcome into EB. Just a couple minutes late. No big deal. EB, how are we doing today?
Not bad, dude. Just got, the second vaccination, so I'll probably have a third arm by Monday, 7 years, superpowers, all the good shit.
Already right off the top of the show, Michael Page with a little Billy ... Did
he say Billy or did he say Billy or did he say Cheney ... I
think he said Cheney ...
Cowboys.
I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, Paige, we are shocked that you showed up today. Shocked. We figured you'd call in a sick day here on the YSN Power Hour. Although, it is a pretty cool day. It's National Unplugging Day, guys. So my question to you is, what's one thing that you can easily step away from that you're, I don't want to say addicted, that you really enjoy utilizing right now? And what's one thing that you cannot give up if your life depended on it? Let's start with, I don't know, Jeff Bezos.
I should definitely unplug from drinking and having fun, but that's the thing I can't unplug from. That's just a good time for me. It's kind of my respect reliever. It's my unplug.
I think you messed up the entire question right off the jump, dude.
Is that not it?
No.
You unplug from drinking.
No. It's called rehab.
Rehab for quitters. Rehab for quitters. Mama raised no quitters.
Unplugging means electronics and
Well, yeah, I was gonna include everything, but unplugging, Jeff. What can you unplug from? What's the hardest thing you'd have to unplug from? What is the easiest thing you'd have to unplug from?
The hardest thing to unplug from would probably be Twitter, scrolling through Twitter 24/7. But the easiest, and what was the other one?
Oh my gosh. The hardest thing to step away from and the easiest thing to step away from.
And the easiest thing to step away from is work. I can step away from work.
It's language. Recall.
Language arts. I should have probably done that a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. I think you unplugged from that a long time ago, buddy.
Yeah,
Quinn.
Yeah. 5th grade, I'm good.
Quinn, go ahead.
Check yourself.
I don't know what would be easy to get away from. I know what I should get away from, and it's this box.
It's on you, not on me.
That's what she said.
Whatever, man.
Get away from this box.
Well played. Well played. Probably my phone. It's kind of one of those things that it's both. I should probably get away from it as much as I'm on it. It's hard to put it down.
I hear you. Paulie, what about you?
I would say, obviously, the hardest thing to unplug from would be my phone. Just the communication that you have with anybody and everybody all the time. That would be the hardest part. The easiest thing, I hate to say the computer because it's kind of the same thing as your phone, but sitting in front of my desk here at the computer, I could get away from this and just leave it alone. But
it doesn't literally have to be something that plugs in. You can unplug from there. Honestly, Jeff was on the right path of this question, but completely botched it naturally. The easiest thing to walk away from is shoes, and then the second hardest thing to walk away from is socks.
I hate wearing socks, by the way.
that's gross.
It's terrible.
No, it's gross that you don't wear socks.
Do you put your bare feet into shoes?
Yeah, during the summertime, I don't wear socks.
Oh,
That's nasty.
Quincy, you've seen it, DJ. I don't have socks on during the summer.
Who's paying attention to your feet?
yeah. Why would I pay attention to your feet?
If I go play golf, and it's really, really hot outside, I play with no shoes on.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You play golf with no shoes on?
Oh man, if you haven't tried it, don't knock it until you try it.
No, I'll knock
Your
it.
feet start sweating.
Well, Pat McAfee told me one day that socks are the devil.
Yeah.
So I don't wear socks.
Pat said they're the devil.
If they put cotton on your feet, imagine what they can do to your arms.
Yeah.
That's what Pat McAfee says.
I don't like wearing them hind socks.
Oh, the old Heinz socks. Keep him unmuted.
What?
You got something. You always talk. We can hear you, and I can hear you. They can see you. The world can see you.
I didn't say anything.
You went like this.
I said, okay, I got it.
Okay.
You think it's weird? I think it's awesome playing golf with no shoes on.
Okay.
Did you ever do that with like your cleats or anything like that?
No, I always wore socks with my football cleats.
Okay, because that's a little bit weird. That's actually really weird. All right, EB, what can you live without, and what can you absolutely not unplug from?
Man, I could totally live without an alarm clock. Like, I haven't really had to set one for a couple weeks, and it's been glorious. What could I live with? What I couldn't live without? Probably right now, a phone, dude. It's going off constantly, but we're right into AAU season.
Who called it? Who called
Billy.
McAfee not playing shoes without
I
golf?
saw him do it. I did it. It's beautiful.
Gosh.
It's like you becoming one with the earth as I.
He doesn't. You know what? McAfee doesn't need underwear because you ride his jock more than any amount of underwear.
He parts his hair this way, so I do the same thing.
Jeff's got a little
do
cup. He sits in a little cup.
That's not nice. You know, you guys aren't nice.
Let me ask you something. If Pat McAfee had a kissing booth, would you pay the $5 to go
No.
give him a kiss, like a wet one right on the mouth?
No,
He'd do it for free.
No, it's not happening.
John Daly is friends with Pat McAfee. John Daly is a pro golfer that golfs barefoot.
Yeah, it's the best thing of all time.
Of all time, you say.
In those like
It's the
little
greatest
pro-am
thing of all
stuff.
time. Like, I do it a lot, and it's perfect. I hit the
John-
ball better. I play better with it.
Then why don't the pros, other than the drunk John Daly,
Well,
do this on the tour?
Well, DJ John Daly didn't deserve that. Don't do that to him.
The guy hits balls off beer cans.
Yeah, dude, he hits
that's
bombs
his
off of
shtick.
beer cans, Paul.
He likes doing that stuff.
Tell me you idolize John Daly and
It all
why?
makes
John Daly's
sense.
the greatest golfer of all time.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely mute Jeff now because he's just crazy.
Hey.
Jeff Bezos currently has the best haircut on the Power Hour. Uh-oh, that means that somebody hasn't got a haircut lately.
Because you can't
What's
get
up?
me in, Matt.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Wow, that's ice
Greatest
cold.
Barbershop in the valley, man, right there. Clientele.
Jeff
I'm
Bezos
not
wouldn't
gonna
go
argue
to
that.
clientele if it wasn't for me. So
This is true.
No,
This
actually,
is true.
DJ turned me on to it, EB, not you. So.
who turned it on to DJ? This guy. Piss missile.
Well,
DJ's
Yeah,
hair is
it's
looking
it's
pretty
definitely
dope. I'm not
you,
gonna
though,
lie to
that
you.
made me go, though. It's definitely not you.
Not gonna lie to you. Like the best haircut is currently between Max Solo and DJ Oakley. Literally right now, because there's only like 3 hairs to cut combined.
Yeah.
Paul's
you
not
just
far
said-
behind.
Yeah.
I'm
Goddamn light
supposed
shade
to ask. This is coming from a viewer. You guys can't see this. It's a text message. It just popped up on my screen. Supposed to ask, and I'll get to Ty and Mac here in a second. But a little side note: are you supposed to tee up the golf ball in the fairway?
No. Not allowed.
Whatever.
It's
I know who
just
said that.
If you
Why
do
you-
that, it's
why I have
cheating,
green
and I will
tees.
never play golf with you ever again.
There's a
Why I have
there's a
green
little bit
teeth.
of there's a shade of guilt on the right side of the screen right now. Paul, do you want to explain yourself?
I always have green teeth. So,
Why would you
Oh,
tee it up in
that's-
the middle of the fairway?
it all depends.
That's a scumbag move, Paul.
Listen, I play in outings that I know I have no chance at winning, and I just like to have fun. So, hey, if I'm like 300 yards out in the fairway, F it. Put a tee down, whack it one. Who cares?
Hit it farther then. You want to be 300 yards out.
If it's like a 600-yard par 5, jackass.
Yeah, dude,
Take off
Paul,
your
I
shoes.
260 in
Yeah,
the-
oh,
300
maybe I should play without
or
socks.
600-yard
I
par
might play
5, Paul.
better.
I 260. Hit it farther.
Okay.
I don't trust anybody that doesn't play sports with shoes on. I'm just going to put that out
Or
there.
socks.
Okay, I'm going to do it for the Raider outing. I'm going to play with no shoes on.
Good. Then
And
you
I'm going to laugh my ass off when you swing and fall on your face.
What do you do? Like, what do you do when it's wet? Isn't that gross?
Whoa. I don't do it when it's in the morning. Like, when it's dry, like mid-afternoon, I play with no shoes on. In the morning, there's no way I could do that. That is way too wet. My feet will get cold. My toesies get cold. I don't like my toesies. I don't like my toesies getting cold. I don't like my toesies getting cold. They are my valuable toes.
Your little pigs.
My valuable toes.
My little toes.
You have
man.
invaluable toes? I mean, is there something there?
Well, half of the Power Hour doesn't have hair anyways. Well, all right. If we're throwing darts, I think we'll talk about that Cheney game in the next couple minutes.
Pace, how did that go up for you, bud?
What do we have here? What would Jeff's personality be if he never found Pat McAfee?
The same.
Yeah.
I'm the same person either way.
False. If you want to be one with the earth, go to the woods for a
house with Kate.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Kate's mad at me because I forgot brunch again last Sunday. Jesus, Jeff. Be smart. It's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. I apologize, Kate.
We've created the Betos Hour.
Yeah.
Not wearing shoes on the golf course don't qualify being one with the earth.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. You're one with the earth.
It probably violates some rules, too, so.
Nope.
Neanderthal golf with
Jeff. A ton
Jeff.
of people that they said it's fine.
Hey, I believe it's no shoes, no shirt, no service. I think that
Right.
relies on the golf course as well.
Nah. I've asked people, I've asked golf pros at golf.
You're not going to the lake club with no shoes on.
Well, I want to do it there. I do it like Valley. I do it anywhere else.
Not for
Valley.
Gilly.
Okay.
Like,
You're
I understand, Kate. It's okay.
All right, Ty, let's get to you. Unplugging wise, what is the easiest thing you could unplug from in your life? What is the most difficult thing you'd have to unplug from?
Well, are we going the easiest thing to unplug from? Does it have to be something we enjoy, or is it just something that?
Yeah, it has to be something that like you actually enjoy.
I would say, okay, the easiest thing I could probably give up right now that I somewhat enjoy is sports betting. At some level, I don't do it often enough for me to really enjoy it. It's something I think it would be easy to give up. But I mean, hard to give up. I mean, for me, sports in some capacity. I mean, I don't know exactly how I want to word that, but I mean, sports in general, because I go from calling games to I'll play the video games, sports video games, to watching sports on TV. It consumes a large part of my life, so I don't think I'd be able to give that up.
We call that last March through July, Ty.
Yeah, that's really all it is. Constantly. That's you nailed it. Nice play, EB. I mean, that's pretty sensible. Sports betting. I mean, do you bet? How do you bet? I mean, you live in Ohio.
I mean, you got to go through the DraftKings and stuff like that is what I more or less reference in FanDuel, and then of course
Gotcha.
you bet for things like you candy bars and everything under the table betting with friends and everything like that. So, no, but yeah, no, for sure. But that's what I meant by that.
All right, Billy Mack. What can you walk away from today if you had to, and what is not going to happen? Here's my candy bar, by the way, Jeff.
Probably just people in general. Like I can be alone and be okay with it for the most part. Not talking to anybody just not talking to people for a while. I can do that. And probably the hardest thing to walk away with is just sports in general. It consumes my life between YSN and Astro Baseball and Max Baseball Academy. It's everything. That's the hardest thing to kind of branch away. That's why the quarantine was so hard.
Mine's it's kind of a trick because I wish I could walk away from my phone, and I also wish I could never walk away from my phone. Like it would be the hardest thing for me to peel myself away from. I'm always on it. Naturally, communication, it's either a text message, a phone call, whatever. But man, I wish some days that I could just throw it from 10,000 feet in the air off that airplane. Because my goodness, I sometimes you just don't want to talk to people. So there you go. And happy National Unplugging Day, everybody. It was a good night on the network last night. We had a lot of games, but the one game we didn't have on our network It was a game that we had a lot of guys that kind of manned up on and went to, and the McDonald girls advanced. EB, you almost got me. The McDonald girls advance. Talk to me, guys, about what that game was like. The awesome opportunity you had to sit there courtside, and what the Blue Devils, one side of the Blue Devils, showed up and just showed out. EB, we'll start with you.
I mean, the best part of the game was the pregame and postgame speech. Clearly. No, it was. I was thinking about this driving home today, and really, what it came down to is thinking about it. Western Reserve was so obsessed with stopping McDonald, they kind of took themselves out of their own game, and McDonald just kind of played their game, and in a sense, it kind of snowballed a little bit on Western Reserve. Now, granted, shots didn't fall for them, which some of those shots generally do. They had a lot of self-inflicted turnovers to where they turned into empty possessions and they couldn't get anything going. And then, they didn't do a good job of handling McDonald's pressure, in the backcourt and gave it easy buckets for, I wanted to say the Blue Devils, but for McDonald. And it was just like it's always the same tale when it comes down to McDonald Western Reserve is, I think Western Reserve tries to figure out how they're going to stop Molly, and someone else for McDonald steps up. And last night, they actually, Molly still had a pretty decent game, but they had two other players step up and have a great game for them. And by the time the third quarter rolled around, which was kind of just a stalemate because they just traded a few buckets here and there, it was pretty much over. And, I feel for those Western Reserve girls that's just a tough situation, when you're sitting there in the fourth quarter and you see the time ticking down and hey, these are our last seconds together. But nonetheless, Western Reserve has really not much to hang their hat on. Did it end the way that they wanted it to? Obviously not. But, if you talk about that group of seniors, they're going to go down as probably one of the, if not the most successful group of Western Reserve basketball players in history. I mean, you have Kennedy, who has 500 plus assists. She was probably about 100 points from 1,000. What she did on the defensive end and how she was just as a leader. Same with Pater and Danny. Obviously, her career speaks for herself, and she's going on to be a Division I basketball player. Like the amount of success that Western Reserve can measure isn't going to be what was done last night in that game. It's a whole chapter of the past 4 years. And for McDonald, you got to be thinking, hey, this is the hump that you've finally been working for to get over. They beat Western Reserve 3 times in 1 year. They're now on to the regional finals. They're one game against Shady Side away from going to Dayton, and we didn't get to see Shady Side, but I have a feeling they probably like their matchup.
Yeah, I got to get behind you. EB, thank you for that analysis. A couple of the other goofballs going to this game sitting courtside. Let's go to Quinn first. Quinn, what was your thoughts on the game last night in McDonald? Do you like their chances moving on over the next round, and can they get to state and do some damage, maybe bring home the gold?
Yeah, absolutely. I like their chances. I mean, they're a very complete team. They've been probably 2-3 years in the making to get to this point. And Coach Matisse and Coach Kohler have a great core group that they're building around and working with every day. I mean, they're ready to go. I think they have a good shot at it on Saturday against Shady Side. And wow, Jeff, that looks creepy.
Yeah, why is he doing that?
Creepy. I didn't notice that until then.
I did it for thinking.
Yeah, I wasn't intentional. But yeah, I mean, I like their chances. I really do. I like their chances to get into Dayton and then just kind of seeing where you go from there. I mean, getting to Dayton is one of the many goals that they've probably set for themselves. So I'm just excited. I think they can definitely make a run at it, and I think they have a good shot.
And then we turn over to Mac, who the first thing that came out of his mouth as soon as he popped on in the pre-show was McDonald is for real. Mac, they impressed you.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've done some girls games this year, but that was the first time I got a chance to see a girls team that I really thought could run with just about anybody that they put on the floor, male or female. And I just like the way they play. They remind me of a up tempo. I mean, they're an up tempo team. They're going to create turnovers. They're going to get easy buckets. What was surprising to me is how many times it felt like there's an open McDonald girl and she just strained a three. There's another McDonald open girl, wide open, and it always felt like McDonald was one scheme ahead of what Western Reserve was doing, almost like they had their playbook kind of sitting there next to them. But it just seemed that McDonald was one step ahead almost the entire night. It was 13-2 basically to start since tip-off, and it wasn't that close the rest of the game.
Who's the one that said McDonald by 25?
He did.
He did. Well, congratulations to the McDonald girls, and congratulations to Western Reserve as well on a fantastic season. And to the seniors, congratulations on an outstanding career. Danny was our big dog of the year for the girls basketball. She's been a fan of YSN since the inception. We wish her nothing but the best. We'll be following her through Robert Morris and beyond. So congratulations to the Western Reserve girls on a fantastic season. Again, like EB said, nothing to hang your head about on that game or a career because it was very successful. All right, the next game we have to talk about is a matchup that we have on our hands, Saturday night, I guess. So you look at this, you have the Poland Bulldogs who blow past Louisville last night. Pav had the call. The score doesn't really indicate that it was as close as it really was, I guess. But on the other side, Cheney, we were getting updates throughout the night, and Cheney just blowing past West Branch, which is impressive because West Branch is no slouch. Michael Page has been telling us since the get-go that this is a team that can do damage, but Cheney just way too much for West Branch last night, and that sets up what I think might be one of the top games in the area, Poland and Cheney. Guys, do you like this matchup? That's a lot of pressing and a lot of athleticism in one single game. Paul, you've been following Cheney. You like the Poland-Cheney matchup. How do you feel about this one going into it?
I think it's a good matchup for two local schools. I mean, for the fact that we're going to get two communities together, it's going to be at Poland. Cheney's going to go in there. But Cheney right now is a monster that nobody wants to see. And you can say you're ready for him, and you can say, oh, we want them. We're going to be on our home court. Cheney, until you get on the floor with them, they are a beast. That ref's autograph. And I see them handling Poland pretty well. I think they're going to go in there. I don't think that game will be in doubt. I think they'll just take control, and they're on a destiny ride right now. I saw when they won last night that they haven't lost a home game in 3 years.
Yeah.
On that court. That's just amazing. I know they, sometimes don't play some of the toughest games at home, that they play those tough games on the road. But, still, it's impressive no matter what to win 3 years, to not lose a home game. And these guys aren't done. They're not happy being in the semifinal. They're not happy being in the final right now against Poland. They fully expect to keep moving on. And I think they do, and I think they do it pretty easy. So,
Ty, what's your assessment of this game? This could be an outstanding game, but either side you can look at it one way or the other, and it could be also a wash for one of the teams or the other.
Absolutely, and Cheney's one of those teams that I think a lot of us expected to make it as far as they did, and I don't think any of us really looked at the record that Cheney had and thought this isn't a very good basketball team because of how they were playing up to everybody. But you're looking at this matchup 3 years prior, Poland versus Cheney. Poland knocks Cheney out, district finals matchup, and takes that away from them after coming back for the basketball season and having a great year. This is a redemption shot for Cheney now. So this is all the drama and everything, all that natural drama that gets produced in sports that you just love and you can eat up. This is a revenge shot for Cheney to come back and beat that team that took them out years ago. They've been trying to get back to that point, haven't been able to. So you're gonna have to go through the same team that took you out to get there again.
And then you look to the next game that we had. We had Canfield versus Chardon last night. Myself, Steve Leslie, had that game. And then it was Struthers and Canton South. The school had that game, as they've done all year long. Two teams that we thought were on a collision course for each other. And once you get Canfield and Chardon together, throw out the records, throw out the matchups, because anything goes. And Chardon came out with 2 kids last night that could not be stopped. Sulka and Toth, both of them highly recruited in football. Sulka going to Iowa State on a full scholarship, we were told. So when you look at that, they had some athletes on the floor, and they just didn't miss. They were shooting lights out. The same thing that Canfield did to Ursuline, Chardon did to Canfield last night. There were a couple moments where Canfield would get up to, single digits or within 8, and then just could not keep up because Chardon just kept changing the answer to the question. So we will see a different matchup. We will see Struthers and Chardon. And this one gets a little intriguing, boys, because you have Struthers and probably one of the, if not best seasons they've ever had in school history. And you've got a team that I don't want to say hasn't been tested because they have, but I don't think they've seen 2 athletes the size of Soka and Toth go head-to-head with them. But I still think that Struthers can outscore Chardon because they've got 5 strong. 5 fingers make a fist, and Chardon is, I think, about to get punched in the mouth because they just are not going to be able to handle the athleticism of the Struthers Wildcats. Anybody have any thoughts on this game? They've seen Struthers. They like what they see from the Wildcats.
I think this one could be upset alert, so they got to be careful. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've watched Struthers a couple games this year, and I like Struthers a lot. I think they're a really good team. I just think that they've been cruising, and they haven't really been tested lately. This one could be really close, and it's going to be that final 3 minutes of that fourth quarter what's going to decide this game.
Wow. And I will tell you this, and I know you guys didn't see the game last night. Chardon's defense is a little bit suspect. They're going to let you have some points, and I don't think that you can do that against a team like Struthers. Quinn?
Right, I'm with Jeff. I have to mute myself. No, not at all. I think Struthers is too powerful. They're too well coached. They have too many weapons. They score too much. I don't think Chardon has a chance.
All right. EB, have you had a chance to see the Wildcats?
Just bits and pieces. And just thinking what you said about Chardon, if those kids remain hot, it could be one of those, like Max said, Struthers hasn't really been tested in a sense of throughout the regular season. But, this is win or go home. And Struthers is a very, very good basketball team. And they just hit you. If it's not Metzka, it's someone else. And then if it's not in the top 5, it's number 6, number 7. They just, they can hit you so many different ways. Everyone thought Struthers was a great team last year. And what they were losing with Ryan and everything, there might be a little, drop off. And I think those kids kind of said, hold the horse. Like, we're probably 10, 15 points better than we were last year. They're just a good all-around team. So I think it might be – I'm going to flip what Billy said. I think it's going to be closer in the first, 2 or 3 quarters, and then Struthers is going to pull away and win by 15.
Love it. So that sets up the next round. We're going to talk about tonight's games when we come back after we take a break. We're also going to talk about the YSU baseball team flying the Y in Western Ohio. Well, it should have been Indiana, but first, we'll get to that in a little bit. Richie Giuliano will join us for a little bit, the voice of the YSU baseball Penguins, and much, much more right here on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow. Wind is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
What was that? Did we just jump on the Enterprise? Welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley and the Band of Misfits here on the Power Hour. We bring it at this point. Well, let's go.
Captain ready, more captain.
let's give a better situation for Mr. Giuliano, the voice of the Youngstown State Penguins. Why's he
Way to
in
fly
the
the Y,
doghouse?
Richie. Way to fly the Y.
I already gave it to him a little bit. Richie, can you explain this? Like, why didn't you just say fly the Y? You said you didn't want it. That's my thing. It's not my thing. It's the YSN thing.
I mean, I'll say it tomorrow if we get a dub. I mean,
Too late.
I don't want to step over top of you. That's your call. You know, I'm not going to steal your call.
First off, before we get started on the YSU win today over Purdue, what is it? Purdue Fort Wayne. I mean, again, it's just too many words. It should be like PFW or something like that. Your visit to Louisiana, the Bayou Boy himself. What's your favorite story from the Bayou?
It's got to be the PA announcer, probably. The guy that comes into our box about 15 minutes before the game asking us for pronunciations of our team and then tries to tell us how to pronounce our guys' names. That's probably my best story. Probably Parker could do as well.
Parker could do.
I mean, there was a lot of funny stories that we had, but I think the PA announcer for Nicholls State was definitely the one that kind of, catches the attention.
All right, buddy. So the Gwins get a big win today. Coach Bertolini pulling all the right strings. 6-3 your final score. What did you see from the Gwins today that really sets them up well for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, they got a good bounce-back victory from Colin Clark, who struggled in his first two outings, and then he comes out today and 5 pitches in the first inning, 1, 2, 3, got things rolling. Turner Grog got us led off with a bases-clearing double to score 3. We were up 3-0 in the blink of an eye, and then kind of just kept the momentum rolling through there. Situational hitting, once again, was the biggest thing for Youngstown State. When guys are on in scoring position, they were able to knock them home. And Lucas Nasani with a big double. Nick Caruso had another big single to left field. Blaze Glenn at the time gave Youngstown State a big insurance run when Purdue Fort Wayne cut the lead in half. So situational hitting was a big thing for Youngstown State. And then, one thing you said that, kind of sets us up for the weekend is this bullpen. And our bullpen came in and, shut the door, didn't give up a run. And, it was Chad Coles who came in for an inning. And you also got a guy like Gary Clift who came in and finished the 9th. And Joel Hake who threw just 1 batter, 2 pitches. But that's all you needed to get the job done and, get out of the inning. So situational-wise, I think we got everything falling into place. And our bullpen's going to be healthy and ready to go just in case, one of our starters gets in a tough spot.
All right, crazy enough, I'm looking at the stats right now. Another game where the Penguins get double-digit hits, and that makes them 3-0 when they're in that category. Is that the key to the success this year is obviously just getting the hits? Because if you get the offense, the defense and the pitching is going to be there for you.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, 3-0 when we score 10 hits or more, that's the recipe for success for this Youngstown State baseball team. And it was a different Colin Clark today than it was against LSU as well as Troy. He had the lead early. He had a lot of confidence on the mound. He was working quickly, and you can just tell it's a different team defensively as well. Once they get the lead first, it's a different ball club. They got a lot of confidence, and once you score runs quickly in the ball game, it helps you out a lot.
There's some people we were listening to the call back here. We love Gary. He's one of the quirkiest people we know, but he makes you hold your breath. He makes you earn that save at the end. It was the Gwins were one swing away from that thing being tied at the end. Was there a moment there where you doubted Gary in that final inning?
I wouldn't say I doubted Gary Cliff. The only concern I had, they brought a guy off the bench, Kolovitz, to pinch hit in the 9th inning with runners at the corners and one down. It's 325, right, down the right field line. This kid's a pull hitter, and he also hit a grand slam against Murray State last weekend. So there was something in the back of my mind. I said it during the broadcast saying, if this kid could get a hold of a fastball, this game could be tied up in one swing of the bat. And, there wasn't like a concern I had about Gary Cliff because I knew he was going to be able to get out of the jam. But, yes, it definitely kind of scared the folks back home that were listening. Got a couple text messages saying, we got to close this thing out. Like, we're in a little bit of trouble right now. But,
he's got that Bob Wickman, like, reload the bases up, close it down.
Yeah, like it was like Cody Allen. Like, Cody Allen always allowed at least a hit or 2 men on in the 9th. But, credit Gary Cliff Jr. for getting the final 2 outs, a big strikeout, and then the pop out to end it. So that was a good finish for him.
All right, from your personal perspective, Richie, how do you feel that the Penguins stack up the rest of the weekend? They need to get the sweep in order to feel legitimate going back into next week and getting prepped for next week?
So I think 3 out of 4 is the biggest thing for next week. If you could take one of the Sunday games, it's going to be tough to sweep for 2-4 win. I mean, they're not a bad ball club. I mean, they could swing it. I mean, Colin Clark was rolling today, but they're a good team. I mean, they got a pretty decent bullpen. For Youngstown State, I think the big thing is you got your best pitcher so far this year throwing tomorrow in Floyd, and then you got Snyder, who's been the anchor and the 4 guy who's pitching in Game 3 now. So Game 4 starting-wise is up for grabs still. There's a couple guys that might come out of the pen. They might throw a bullpen game just depending how Sunday goes in that first game, but I think you feel confident moving forward. John Snyder, who's pitched well in his first 2 starts, and Colin Floyd, who really shut down LSU in the top 15 of the country. I think he'd be able to handle the Mastodons tomorrow. I
owe you an apology. You gave me the great grace of the Canfield Cardinals, and Steve and I completely obliterated it. I mean, it was. We just couldn't hold it up, Richie. We couldn't do both things. So I apologize for not getting the dub for you last night against Chardon. I know that you're heartbroken about it. They're on the road in Defiance or wherever you are in the hotel room, it looks like.
Yeah, we just got back. And, I heard about Chardon last night. I kind of got settled down in my hotel room, and, I looked at the score. I'm like, yeah, this thing is not going well. And it kind of hurts because Chardon beat us in football. Now they beat us in basketball too. So we can't beat Chardon this year, which is tough.
I just want to apologize to you and all of Canfield because I feel like it's my responsibility to get that win last night, and I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. So, Richie, thank you for popping on for a little bit. I'm sure hoping Danny's feeding you out there because you're the lone wolf out there. There's nobody else but Richie Giuliano from YSN. So we appreciate you holding down the fort, making sure these YSU calls are out to the fans and, of course, the families who aren't allowed on the campus to watch these games. So was it weird having just almost like a scrimmage there today?
Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, the press box is above like the first base dugout, so that was strange enough already. You kind of have a different angle looking at the plate.
It's like massive.
There's a couple calls. I was trying to find the ball because the ball's popped up and you lose sight over top of the press box, and you're like, wait, where's the ball at? And then you kind of got to pause a little bit, but it's at least we have a press box. I'm grateful for that. Grateful that we get to come up here and call ISU baseball. So it's a nice press box, beautiful facility, and I guess it was a little weird that there were no fans, but a lot of high school kids just walking in and out of the ballpark. I'll tell you that. So there were people all day walking through.
bunch of rando Calrissians walking around the ballpark. All right, I get it. All right, Richie, we appreciate you stopping by. You're more than welcome to stay if you want to talk about the matchups. But I know you're probably hungry at that point, so feel free to pop off whenever you want. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk to you.
All right, later.
Richie Giuliano, the voice of the YSU Baseball Penguins, spending some time with us here on the YSN Power Hour. A good win. It's always a good win for the YSU baseball team. So, all right, guys, let's turn it back to basketball real quick. When we see tonight, Ty, this one's all you. I'm not even going to give you a leeway into it. Mooney versus Waterloo, what are you expecting? You have the call. What do you want to see?
Well, what we're looking at between both these teams, I've had a chance to actually see both of them. You're going to see it's going to be a battle of two stars up front. Kyle Shockley for the Waterloo Vikings, and of course Michael Mooney for the Mooney Cardinals. I think this game's going to honestly come down to which the surrounding four of those two stars, or what they're going to do is what's going to be the ultimate factor in this game, because we already know Shockley and Fellini, they're going to get theirs. They're going to get their 20, 30 points. They're going to put up the buckets just because of the talent level that both those players have. But then I'm looking at guys like the Thomas Fires and the Mike Hergenrothers of the Mooney Cardinals, and on the other side, Sandell and then Al Hassan for Waterloo. It's these other players, the other starters that where they're going to make up those points is where it's going to make the difference in this game. So I think that's what you're going to be looking at tonight. But it's going to be a great matchup between these two teams. I think both teams are just really all around very, very talented. Nobody really thought Waterloo would make it this far, but once they ran into Newton Falls, everyone thought that's where it was going to end. But Waterloo, they're a team that can surprise some people, especially if the surrounding players are putting in their parts.
Now, obviously, you're going to have to be a little bit more even because they're both YSN schools. So talk to me about, gun to your head, who do you think has the advantage in this game?
If I'm going to say something, as much as I do love the Waterloo faithful, and I've loved going out there with that Waterloo crowd, and I really love the people of Waterloo, I will say the better-looking overall team that I've seen more consistently putting in and out every single game is Mooney. They've been more consistent all year round. They went through that slump, and I saw them. I saw them once when they lost a pitch, but that was, of course, when Fellini got injured in the first quarter. So you can't really. That's not really a good baseline to judge that off of. But when Fellini's playing and that team's running, they're a very consistent team. They move the ball extraordinarily well, and they play very good team basketball. So it's going to be something that Waterloo's going to need to combat. But if I'm picking any team, I'm going to say Mooney slightly has the advantage. I would give them tonight.
I've been hanging
the press, the press of Mooney. Can anybody beat their press? It just seems like they just create so much chaos and easy transition buckets. And when Quinn and I did their game last week, their rotation defense is crazy. They're just so helpful, and they're always in the right spots. So they're super well coached too.
And that could be a very big key to, the victory as well as the defense, because I've also seen Waterloo come out with solid defensive performances, but where Waterloo can beat themselves at times is with turnovers. They try to get a little too flashy with the passes from time to time. They tend to turn the ball over, and if Mooney can convert turnovers into points and force those turnovers, Mooney is looking at a victory tonight.
Wow, there was a minute there. I felt like we had an actual structured show. It was amazing. Nice job, Ty. And I was also waiting for the heel turn because we've been around Billy Mack so long that you were talking about Waterloo, and everybody's waiting for you to go back and say, but I'm going to pick Mooney. And then Billy always just throws that, and I'm going to take Waterloo. Billy, do you like Carter Mooney in this game, or do you think Waterloo can I think Waterloo probably has the upset alert on, right? They're on the radar at least.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can beat that press right now. I really thought that LeBray, they run a similar press, that they would be familiar with it, and they just turned the ball over left and right, and they've been doing very well this year against handling the press. When we went to watch Tri-C, and they could not handle the press too. A very good team, a team that's been in the Final Four district semifinals, seems like every other year. They could not handle it either. I think that's just going to be the thing for me. That's why I would pick Mooney tonight in this game. That's home court. You get to play in front of your family, your friends. You keep that tradition of just, we come out the tunnel at this time. We don't have to drive somewhere. We don't have to go anywhere. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this all year, and it's just another game to them where Waterloo's got a little bit of a hike to come all the way out to Youngstown.
And you don't have to sleep on the couch tonight.
Playing a district championship at home?
But we will see, though. I mean, like I said, it's going to definitely be an interesting matchup. And I mean, I think it's going to be about, who can you contain as well? Because with the press, we all know it's all about how well you can move the ball. The ball's in Shockley's hands. He tends to move the ball pretty well. But if they're able to cut off those passing lanes, I agree that if the turnovers can be created, Mooney has a good chance at winning.
Cool. Right, stop there. Hold up, because this is. Listen, I've never once said that it was a home court advantage to not have home court in the playoffs. I said I would prefer it to be at one place and everybody have a neutral site. So if we're over here and you're sitting there and you're going, that's not right, Paul. Don't do it.
Well, hey, you brought it up. If they're on a neutral
he also
site,
picked Mooney because he forgot Kate's Kraus Pizza last night.
Oh!
Well, we didn't forget. Hold up. Here's the trick. Here's the thing. My checkings and savings, see what happens is when it comes.
Yeah. So what happened was
we were late. We weren't late. It was just timing was just off. We didn't call ahead. We didn't get the pizza. So
we weren't organized.
We didn't have a woman with us. There was 3 men. That was the issue.
We figured it all out after we got other food.
God.
Which,
by the way, terrible.
Changed my
Wingstop.
mind. Wingstop sucked.
Yes. Yeah. Terrible.
All right, let's go to the next game at hand that we have to get to here. I think we got 2 more. Yes. We'll go to our resident Springfield expert, Mr. Paul Munson, for this one. Can Springfield keep it going tonight? They play Pie Valley. Obviously, South Range, their season was ended abruptly because of Pie Valley. Do you feel like Springfield can represent the Valley and not the Pie Valley, I guess, in booting them from the tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I think Springfield had that little bit of a shakeup against Champion. I mean, they were down at halftime. Champion came out and played, but the bad thing was it caught up to Champion in the second half. Champion only had really 2 guys that were doing any damage, and Rothwell was able to shut down. I think it was Hendricks was the kid, the big kid, 6'6" kid from Champion. They were able to shut him down, and they just left one guy on 4 basically, and he just couldn't do it. So Springfield took care of business in the second half. I think that was a little bit of a wake-up call for them, and I think they're going to handle Pie Valley. They're going to be a little disappointed because they really wanted South Range. They wanted to get that revenge win against them because South Range had beat them earlier in the year at South Range. So now they were going to get the Raiders on the Tigers' court, home field advantage, because they're the number 1 seed. So they get to have that game at home and more fans, so they're going to get to have more fans in the stands tonight. And it's going to be, I think the fans are going to come out and support, and it's just going to be a ruckus little crowd there tonight. I think they're going to take care of Pie Valley and move on. So
I'm excited for this.
This is the game of the night.
Yep.
I think this is the game of the night.
Hey, you know who's there? Who's calling this game? Romo's there. So one half of the Excitement twins are at this game, and you got Steve Leslie on top
Steve
of it.
there too. Yeah.
I mean, this is the game you're watching. But the key is you can watch both these games for $9.99 if you feel like it. There it is. So you can watch this game and Mooney and Waterloo get Ty in all his glory as the Cardinals take on the Vikes. And then the game that we don't have, the Blue Coats took from us, is going to be McDonald versus JFK. This is a game that we've wanted to see from the beginning of the year, and it's only right that one team has to go home and one team gets to move on. McDonald, JFK. Talk to me, Quinn, about what you're seeing with both of these teams, and who do you think has the advantage coming into tonight?
That's tough to pick, honestly, for me. I like what McDonald does. I like how they play. I like their presses. I like the energy Coach Franchicelli brings. I mean, he's all over the place, and he is loving it.
What is Jeff smiling at?
It's just, it's weird.
Mr. Potato Head over there.
And like the kids really feed off of that energy. I mean, they're coming off a buzzer beater. That's a ton of excitement as it is. And then JFK, they're playing their basketball. They're the typical JFK team that always plays good basketball and is always in the spot of like a district final. So it'll be a good game. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go JFK.
Wow. I got blindsided on that one. All right, Quinn. I can appreciate that. I didn't see that one coming. All right, Jeff, here's your question. McDonald wins this game if ...
They score more.
Paul, stay right there. Stay right where you are.
If they shoot the three well. What the heck?
Right.
It looks like. It just looks like.
Kind of looks like that ref from last night.
Yeah.
I saw it. They get right on it. Somewhere over the rainbow, boys.
Jeff, did you understand that question?
Yeah. If they if McDonald shoots it well, they live and die by the 3-pointer. If they don't shoot the three well, I really think JFK goes out and handles business at that point. It just depends if they shoot well. That's all.
All right, flip the pancake. JFK wins if ...
They play really good if they shut down McDonald from shooting the ball well. So if they put really good defense and shoot it down, JFK wins the basketball game. There you go.
Here's the trick: if you play good defense on both sides of the ball,
And if they score more points than McDonald.
All right,
I'm
EB.
going to pick McDonald wins by like 15. I think they blow them out.
Oh, wow.
I think JFK got nothing, and McDonald Blue Devils
got nothing.
Lights out.
They got nothing.
They got nothing, and they win by 15.
All right, EB, a little bit more basketball in this conversation, please. McDonald wins if...
So here's the trick. JFK was the president, and there was Abraham Lincoln, who had 4 scores in like something years ago. So...
But I really love McDonald Fry.
Wait, time out
No,
before we do this. Jeff. In Abraham Lincoln's speech that said 4-score-and-7 years ago.
Yeah.
How many years is that?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say 10. Not close, I don't think.
4-score-and-7 years is 10 years?
I don't know. I knew this question was coming because I was listening yesterday.
And you didn't look it up?
No.
All right,
I didn't look up yesterday. I didn't look this up.
Oh, Ty's going to have this. What's a score, Ty? How many years is a score?
20 years.
So
I was going to say that.
So, Jeff, here's the tricky question. Jeff, what's 4-score-and-7 years?
So 4 scores. 7.
Carry the 1. Dot the I.
47 years?
Oh, no.
Jeff, I'm going to help you out. If one score is 20 years, 4 of them.
This is parent Paul coming out.
80 years? 87?
And 7
Hey, attaboy!
End the show right now.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, boys, how about me?
Anybody else want to?
What was his answer?
He finally got to 87.
Oh.
But his original answer was 10.
Years off. No?
I was only 40 years off.
Then it was what? 47.
That's okay.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on this this final game here, McDonald versus JFK? Before we get to our G. Burbick Farm, what's your beef?
McDonald wins. Period.
It's going to be a hell of a matchup.
I think it's going to be a great game. Those blue coats got us this time, boys.
Yeah.
They got us this time
Darn
around.
blue coats. We don't like them.
And we
All
got
right.
2 girls games tomorrow, too.
Oh, really?
I see one.
Well, I mean, we're going to carry one, but we have 2 teams that are playing.
Okay.
Thanks,
I see one. All right, we'll have South Range versus Waynesdale. All right, is that what you were looking for? Did Donnie jump in your ear?
McDonald plays too, right?
Do they? Yeah, tomorrow it's 6:30, right?
Years or something like this.
I don't know if are we able to do that game?
No, that's why
Who's
if
doing
you look, it's marked red and it says do their own.
I don't. No, it's not even on my thing. It's not even on my sheet.
I might not have hit.
There goes Paul. All right, this brings us to Steve Gilmartin wants to know, Jeff, do you know dog years? How many years a dog year?
7 years.
There, of course
There it
you know
is.
that one.
Saturday, March 6th.
Fly Eagles
7:30
fly, says
Valley
B Mac.
Yeah, how did Wyndham do against Valley Christian there, bud?
80. Say 80, Jeff. Carrie was trying to help you out.
Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate you.
It also is very tough because Jeff can't read, so that wouldn't have helped him out very much. So, all right, on to our G Burby Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? Jeff, you have the floor. What's your beef? What's your filet, sir?
My filet today is Quinn. I appreciate you, bud.
We seen the love eyes you gave him.
$10 today because I lost the bet to both of you. I said I wouldn't swear, and that was possible because I did because I might have done something. But my filet is Quinn. I'm taking the $50, tell him, hey man, this is till the bar. Have a good night on me, bud. I was like, thanks, Quinn.
Good on you, Quinn. What's your beef and filet?
There's his beef right there.
It's all mixed in one. I'm having beef and filet, and it's all Jeff for
Oh,
multiple
thanks, man.
reasons. One, bought lunch.
I did.
Beef because he just did that.
I
Beef
can do it.
because he smiled creepily behind me. Filet because he makes me feel smart.
It's not hard. So.
The list can go on.
It's not hard for me.
It's not hard.
It's perks. It's perks of seeing me today.
Well done, boys. All right, EB, what do you got?
Let's see. I'll go filet. I thought our car ride last night was pretty entertaining and fun. Now the beef was the mismanagement of time, figuring out how we could have gotten pizza and we should have just done it that way. And Wingstop still sucks. Like I don't see the craze behind that. But nonetheless, the whole car ride for the most part, and especially before going in and out of the game, and that sounds really, really bad, was pretty fun. Foggy windows and all. It was a great time.
Foggy windows. Ty, beef or filet?
No, it's definitely a filet tonight. Getting a chance to do this game tonight, it's definitely. I love both of these schools and these fan bases. I've had a chance to go see Mooney, both boys and girls, and Waterloo, boys and girls, both in their schools this year, and both schools did an incredible job. I mean, treat us very well, and I mean the people there always asking questions, so eager to know what's going on with YSN with their schools and everything at both schools. So I love both these schools, so I'm very excited for this matchup. I don't know how we could possibly be biased with this one. So
I see what you did there. Mac, what do you got?
I have a filet, and it is of me, Max Baseball Academy. Today is year 2 of the existence where I decided to pick up and leave from the pit of misery to create Max Baseball Academy. So that is my filet.
Dilly, congratulations, buddy. Muncie, what do you got?
So I got two beefs, a little one and a big one. The little beef is I'm not.
That is what she said.
Yeah. It is like I got that shot yesterday, and like I was fine like yesterday and like this morning, but like now I just like starting to get a little lethargic, so just kind of getting a little tired. Just want to go home and go to sleep. So that's that one. But then my big one, Billy talked about it the other day a little bit too, and I saw something else this morning about this whole cancel culture and like everything's neutral. You can't call babies boys or girls, and I saw somebody post about we can't name our dogs boy or girl names because it's sexist to call them boys or girls, even though they are a boy and a girl. It's like it's getting out of hand. I mean, you know, the whole Dr. Seuss thing and the Mr. Potato Head thing and all this other garbage. It's like we've got other stuff to worry about than to be worrying about Mr. Potato Head or Mr. Coffee, you know, or I mean, it's getting silly. Like, I mean, let's take care of some other business that it actually means something instead of, oh, I saw one thing they said they're going to take the gender off of a birth certificate when you have your baby, that you can't put down whether it's a boy or a girl. You just got to put down it until it decides what it wants to be.
Like, get out of your feelings.
I mean, the best thing I saw, I mean, and it's pretty blunt. I mean, it was, if you got a thing, you're a boy. If you don't, you're a girl. Cut and dry, that's how it works.
Okay, well, I'm going to just leave that where it is. My beef is, it's kind of a beef and filet. We'll start with the beef. The beef is when the YSU baseball team wins, you say, all
Fly
together
the
now,
Fly
the Y!
we say fly the Y here at YSN. We travel over yonder, down to the bayou, to the dirty parts of Alabama, the trailer park ridden portion of the United States of America, where Billy and I navigate through, and we fly the Y. But that being said, I'm just happy Richie's there, and that's my filet, is that YSN continues to be the home for YSU baseball, and we continue, and Dan Bertolini continues to bring home the bacon. So congratulations to the YSU baseball team. Big win to start the weekend. Keep it up through the weekend. Get all 4 of them, take them, be greedy, and bring them right back to Grit City, USA. That is going to do it for our show today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in, for being part. And ladies and gentlemen back home, we appreciate you, of course, always. Looking forward to 3 to 4 right here on YSN. We'll be back on Monday with more of the YSN Power Hour. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Goodbye from Maswin.